I just moved it a little bit. It wasn't, I'm sure you'll get a lot of these cases, or my car was parked in my friend's place and that happens to be in the middle of the road. How do you handle those situations? And is there a legitimate way to prove that the car was not being driven when it was flooding?
Now, I don't need to really go into the details on what is going to happen to those cases, right?
True.
But it's going to be very tough. Please understand, like, the core concept of insurance is you get insured for an event you don't know or you can't plan for.
Hey guys, hello and welcome to Social Kandura. A lot of you guys have asked us a lot of burning questions about insurance. So we have the man himself, Neeraj Gupta, the CEO of PolicyBazaar Middle East. I know you're a very busy man, especially given the circumstances, but thank you so much for spending time with us and coming down over here.
Thanks, Gaurav, for the invitation. My pleasure to be here.
Burning question of the hour. What is covered in insurance and what is not? A lot of questions that we are getting, especially about cars. So what does the rule say? What gets covered for if my car is underwater and what doesn't get covered?
So one, I want to tell all your listeners and viewers is you have to be patient on whatever is happening. This has been unprecedented. So everybody is working round the clock to help the consumers and figure out what is the best way forward. But having said that, coming back to the insurance piece, like from a motor insurance, if you talk about, so a lot of articles are floating around on what is covered, what is not covered. So one thing which is very, very evident is there are two types of policies. One is a third party and a comprehensive policy. Third party policy, as it says, covers the damages caused by your car to the other party. So that policy, if you have, I'm sorry to say, but floods are not going to be covered if you have a third party policy. Now, if you have a comprehensive policy, you are eligible for the claim.
So keyword being
eligible for the claim. Now, there are a lot of terms and conditions around it. So, for example, you stay in a community where you have a basement parking or you have a parking and your car was parked and it got flooded because of the rains. It is covered. Okay. You stay in a villa and it got flooded, your car was parked, it's covered, right? Now, if there was, you could see there's a lot of standing water or there's a lot of water already under a bridge and you thought, no, I'll drive it and figure out if my car goes through it. Now, I don't need to mention this will not be covered, right?
But how do you, as an insurance provider, as an aggregator, how do you handle this claim where someone's car is parked in the middle of the road, but they're like, no, I just moved it a little bit. It wasn't, I'm sure you'll get a lot of these cases, or my car was parked in my friend's place and that happens to be in the middle of the road. How do you handle those situations? And is there a legitimate way to prove that the car was not being driven when it was flooding?
So one of the ways to figure out is obviously a lot of things would be post-mortem also, right? So if your car was parked and you did not, and it wasn't running and water got in, so you're gonna tow the vehicle to the garage, right? So garage, while opening the car, will figure out has the water really creeped into the engine, right? But if your car was running and it flooded, definitely water has been sucked in to the car engine, right? So post-mortem, you can figure out what the root cause was for the damage. But having said that, see, what we are trying and advising all our consumers is for photos and videos, whatever is available. Now, also, if you see, there are a lot of videos on the internet and everything where you can see people driving through the water. A couple of cars obviously came out of that and couple of cars did not. They just got stuck. Now, I don't need to really go into the details on what is going to happen to those cases, right?
True.
But it's going to be very tough. Please understand, like, the core concept of insurance is you get insured for an event you don't know or you can't plan for, which essentially means that you're not going to drive into danger, right? If you're going to drive into danger, then it's like for a life also, right? If you're going to be in danger, then
it just cover over there.
Yeah. So insurance is not for that.
And let's talk about different scenarios where, let's say, for example, my car is parked in the basement of a building, and I have only third-party insurance. Wouldn't the building's insurance be liable? Because when I park my car at a building basement, in a way, if anything happens to the car, it's the building's responsibility. Doesn't that cover like flooding or something like that?
One of the great questions I have heard, like good one. So please understand, in insurance there is a clause called a proximate clause. So which is the immediate proximate clause for the damage or the loss. Now in this case, although your car is parked in the basement of a building and the building might be insured, and so anything falls under the responsibility of the building owner. But here the proximate cause or the root cause for the damage of the car has nothing to do with the building. It was rains because of which the flooding happened, right?
But can't I claim that the drainage system in the building was faulty?
But if you see everything else outside is flooded, then you can't really blame the building, right?
Correct. Okay.
So that is where I come from, right? It's not anything locally which happened in the building due to which the car got damaged.
Right. Okay. So then
that would not be. Yeah.
Moving to houses, the unfortunate videos we've seen in a lot of communities, a lot of residentials as well. How does the housing policy work? Like, comprehensive should cover everything at this point? That's the only policy that's available?
So home insurance also pretty much is divided into at least two broad aspects, which is, do you cover the property or the contents, or do you cover both? Like those are the basic differences on the home insurance side, right? If you as a property owner have covered the property, then obviously depending on the limits and everything, how much you've declared, the value and everything, because now what has also happened is you might have insured your home at a value which you bought, but the market value might be a lot more.
Different, yeah.
So how would the claim work out? Typically, it's going to be very different, right? So if you've insured your house for a 2 million dirham and the market value is 5 million dirham,
that is a big
how do
difference.
you? Yeah. So there might be, but having said that, obviously it depends on what you've insured. If you've insured the property or the contents, or if you've insured everything. If you've not insured contents, so let's be very honest, then anything which got damaged, for example, if it got flooded in your living room, your sofa and everything got damaged, so it's not going to be covered, right?
Gotcha.
Now the other aspect is a lot of because if you look at Dubai, pretty much you have a lot of people who are owners and who have tenanted their property. So it's a sort of an investment income, right?
Yes.
So a lot of smart people, what they've also done is they've bought an insurance which covers their loss of rent.
Okay. Right. So that covers the residential.
So because now the tenant can't continue to stay, what they're saying is, okay, you move to an alternate residence and don't pay me the rent, my insurance company will pay for it.
Will pay for it.
And rightly so, because
it's
become inhabitable, not because of the incorrect maintenance of the property. It just has happened, and with the insurance will kick in for that.
Gotcha. And obviously, as PolicyBazaar being the aggregator, you have some difficult conversations to have with the insurance providers. And at the end of the day, we know that because I personally, all my policies, car, home, everything is with PolicyBazaar itself, which just happens to be coincident that I'm talking to the CEO now. How has the relationship been between, because see, as a customer, as a consumer, the only thing that I remember is I got the policy from PolicyBazaar. Unfortunately, I don't remember, or I don't pay much attention to which the insurance provider was. And I'll just pick up the phone and be like, no, you guys told me this. How is that looking and how are you guys handling that?
So to be honest, as you rightly mentioned, obviously we're getting lots of numerous calls from the consumers, and obviously we need to understand that there's a loss. There's a loss happened for the consumer, and it's a tough situation he is in. We are supporting them by making them understand what their policy terms and conditions are, what can they file a claim for, and what the processes are. And to be honest, insurance companies have also been very supportive on this. A lot of insurance companies have kept a dedicated team round the clock to help consumers with their queries. I'm not sounding favorites with any insurer, but I was speaking to one of the insurers and he reached out that this is your friend who has a claim, don't worry, tell him it'll all be covered. And I didn't raise out to him, my friend has filed a claim. How he got to know? Because he was out there in the market inspecting the garages. Are our consumers okay? Are our garage partners okay? Right. And I'm talking about a senior guy of an insurance company. One of the heads of claims, right? That speaks volumes. So the insurance companies are out there helping in whatever way they can the consumers, the community itself, and they're working with the garage partners. But please understand, everybody is overwhelmed right now. A lot of garages are also flooded themselves, right?
Yes.
So they're also trying to figure out how best to support the consumers. Now, also please understand, nobody plans for such an event. That one day suddenly so many cars are gonna come to the garages for repair. So unfortunately, this capacity cannot be increased overnight.
True. And no one is prepared for
No
something
one is
like
prepared,
this.
right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have delays. You have to plan for it. Unfortunately, you have to plan for it.
Gotcha. And what impact are we going to see in, you can choose not to answer, but used car market, insurance prices, what impact are we going to see with what happened that day to the coming months, to the coming weeks, new cars coming in? Will we see an increase in insurance values?
So a couple of things, right? So obviously every car owner knows here that you have a roadside assistance. So a lot of people today are also trying to reach out to roadside assistance or towing away their vehicles. True. So one thing, they're also overwhelmed. You have only so many towing trucks. So unfortunately, that is one piece. Now you also have a replacement car. A replacement car are typically 7 days to 15 days to a month, depending on your policy. But typically it's 7 days. Now that is not gonna cover, because your car is not gonna get repaired in 7 days. Like, let's be very honest.
True.
Having said that, are there enough cars with the roadside assistance? Because they also tie up with agencies too. So they're also struggling, right? So to provide cars and everything. On the second-hand car market, I expect the volumes to go up, because obviously car is the means of transport for a lot of people, and especially people with families and everything. They can't, they have schools to go to, they have to pick up their kids, they have a lot of other things, they have to go to office and everything, right? So you need an alternate transport. What do? Either you wait and use public commute, and all the times you can't use a public commute, right?
True. Yeah.
So what do? You either rent a car, or you will buy something cheap from a second-hand market, right? So we expect in the near term some sort of a increase in demand, definitely.
Got you. And for example, life insurances. How has there been any claims?
So as of now, no claims as such. And plus, I believe it's too early on that front, right? I believe the cars were the first thing which got impacted for people and the homes. For cars also, currently, what is the quantum of claims? Everybody is still getting claims on a daily basis, right?
What numbers are we looking at? Like just...
sorry, but very difficult to predict, but it's gonna be a multifold jump, definitely,
right.
On claim side, and because a lot is gonna be on a higher cost of claims, right? Typically, you have a severity, like do you have a high ticket size of claim? In this cases, the severity is going to be very high. So your average cost of claim is also going to go up.
Right. Yeah. It's not going to be a small bumper
So
repair.
a bumper replacement, exactly.
Yeah.
If it's gone to the engine, then you're talking about tens of thousands.
Correct.
Like a lot of places, it's going to be probably more than the car value itself. So it's going to be a total loss.
Right.
And so it's going to be a huge impact, and I believe time will tell, but it's going to be an impact on premium levels also at some point of time.
Yeah.
That's gonna be happening, right? You can't shy away from it. Like insurance is based on claims.
Gotcha.
At the end.
True. Well, thank you so much for spending so much time with us and clarifying a lot of questions that we have as well. Any predominant questions that you think are getting asked the most, which our followers or our viewers would like to, have, you can answer those questions as well. Anything that you get asked quite a lot, apart from something that we've missed?
So one of the questions that we get asked a lot is, I have a third party, will it be covered? And the other question is, okay, I have a third party, my car is okay. Can I now move to a comprehensive? Yes, there are ways to do that. So if you have a third-party insurance and you want to convert to a comprehensive car insurance, provided your car is okay and not damaged in floods.
Exactly.
So there is a process, right? You need to have dated pictures. You need to have a live video of today with the car being switched on.
Okay.
And passing certificate. So you can convert a third party into a comprehensive policy. There is a provision to do that. And our advice to consumers is, car is one of your favorite
things
asset you own, which you use on a daily basis. Do protect it. Do buy comprehensive insurance.
True. That's the right way to do it as well. Thank you so much, and all the best with all the claims and everything else. you guys are doing a great job out there from the feedback that I hear and everybody else as well. So continue doing it, and this is the time when the country needs you guys the most as well.
Thank you, Gaurav. Pleasure to be here, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you.